Well, this is the first episode here. Riffs and Rhythms.
This is where it all begins.
This is it. So if you don't know who we are, well, then we're going to tell you. Right? I think people that are listening, they should already know who we are.
Well, hopefully we've got all kinds of new fans who've never heard of us.
Yeah. So.
And then there's people who will know who we are. And there are probably some people who regret it too, but
well,
it'll be the time of your life until you realize.
That's exactly it. So, all right, folks. Yeah, thanks for tuning in here. This is our first episode of Riffs and Rhythms. I'm Paul, and this is
Kevin.
All right, so he's the riffer. I'm the rhythmer. We've talked about this before.
Yes,
Rhythm.
you are.
Is it a word?
Yes, you are.
Rhythm.
When you are a better drummer, you are rhythmer than other drummers.
And is it when you reach the pinnacle, are you the rhythmist?
Well, if it's only common sense. If someone is rhythmer, then you can be the rhythmist.
Okay.
The rhythmist sounds like a title similar to drummer. What do you do in the band? I'm the rhythmist.
Yeah. Like the bestest.
No, like the percussionist.
Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. I'm following you now. There. Usually, I'm waiting for the. You're giving good accolades here because I'm waiting for the drummer jokes that you're gonna bust on me here. I'm sure, right?
Well, there's just as many guitar player jokes, so it's gonna be. Well, you want to start off with that?
I don't have one prepared, but go ahead.
Oh, I got good ones for both, so I can speak for both of us. So, what do you call a guitar player that doesn't have a girlfriend?
What?
Homeless.
Oh, damn. Bum.
All right. And how can you tell if the drum riser is level?
How?
The drummer is drooling from both sides of his mouth.
He'll be here all weeks, folks, and hopefully next week and next week after that. So, again, like we said, it's this is a new podcast here. Two good friends, we came together with an idea and said, hey, how about this? Sit down. Both Kevin and I are, I think we've got a good repertoire of conversation, banter, etc., and things to talk about, and also drink, which is always
drinking
helpful.
And talking.
Yes.
Is what you've got to look forward to.
Yes.
With the Riffs and Rhythms podcast, we'll be drinking and talking about riffs, and then drinking and talking about rhythms, and which is better and which is more important, and why.
Yes, we definitely need to. We both each have our opinion, but we're also going to ask people around in the area here. We're going to do some on-the-street interviews, ask people, which one do you think makes the song, riffs or the rhythm? And will each show will listen to a song, and we're going to give our opinion on what makes it the song. Is it the riff or is it the rhythm? And, Kevin may say it's the rhythm, and vice versa. I may say it's the riff on the song. We'll get to that shortly, though. But yeah, so that the gist of what it is.
So we're going to have reaction videos. We're going to watch videos, yes. And Paul's going to have a reaction. And we've got some. What do you have? Medicine for reactions. We've got some sort of Benadryl type stuff here.
It's in this bottle. It's called Sin City Cinnamon Whiskey there. It's made by Gatsby Spirits here. It's distributed by House of Beer, Wine, and Spirits here in West Palm Beach.
I've heard of those guys. The House of Beer, Wine, and Spirits. Let me get
it right now. Wine, Beer, and Spirits. I want to be good with the right name for the sponsor here who's provided us this nice bottle of whiskey for us. So Wine, Beer, and Spirits.
They're the ones with the super cool hops logo and the corkscrew.
That's right. Yes, and we do have so. Definitely appreciate them for providing us a bottle for tonight here while we tape this episode. But yes, you're right. They have that cool logo, and definitely big shout out to them. And we're going to get to why we're going to tie this shout out to them was they provided a little bit something for a benefit recently. And
super cool.
So we definitely appreciate Mario Perez, the owner and president of House of Wine, Beer, and Spirits.
So Mr. Perez is the Prez?
He is I don't know if he's ever said that before. Perez is the Prez. I like that. He may actually steal that. That's okay. You take that one, Mario. We've got way too much creativity anyway.
Yeah, we're going to be giving out free dumb ideas all night.
Yeah, whether you like it or not. So, but yes, the giveaway we were talking about here was a case of wine that they donated for this benefit. And yes, what was this benefit? So this just happened here just a few days ago, and this was Heartfest.
Heartfest was a chance for the local musical community to come together and help out a friend of ours, ckery, who needs a heart transplant. So, having a heart that works is kind of key. So what we did was we got together and we did a fundraiser for him. So the cool thing about doing this is that the person that we were doing the event for was still alive. And it's rare to get to do it for someone who hasn't already passed away. And a local all-star crew of musicians came together and created a nonstop, all-day, all-star jam. And a lot of really cool things happen when you do one of those. The first thing that happens is most of my friends are musicians, but of course I never get to see my friends because when do we all work at the same time?
Yep.
And so, I've got people that I call close friends that I haven't seen in years, right? So we all show up in the same room. We get to hang out and talk to each other, perform, catch up, play in combination that we don't ever get to do. Get to learn more about our friends that we never get to spend any time with. And then the other thing that happens is, a community comes together and supports one of its own. And we raised a good bit of money for Ace. And, I was just helping that. It wasn't my idea. I just helped get it together. But what little bit that I did contribute to to that event, it made it all worthwhile to see Ace's reaction when he came in and he looked around to see like there was actually a bunch of people there. I know for a fact he didn't expect many people to be there.
No, that's
And for him to see there was 150 people there?
It was
And Ace was just totally crying out loud. He was so moved.
And I know before the event and we were planning this, and or you guys were planning, and then I just kind of helped, like everything. Everybody pitched in to do what they could, and we streamed it. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you thought he would have probably spent as much time out amongst with everybody, considering he's very tired. He's a bit worn down a little bit, I guess, if you want to call it that, right? He talked about just being in the hospital recently and got out, and he's like, I need to get out to this, right?
Yeah, he's been in the hospital for most of the last month,
right?
Just the exception of a few days,
and he hung out there a good portion of all that day there. So.
Yeah, well, he wasn't going to come,
right?
Well, because for two reasons: because the heat, he can't stand it. Mm-hmm. And he was in the hospital. He wasn't supposed to go anywhere. And so what the management of the Salerno Beach Bar did was they chose not to rent out the Airbnb that's in that building for that day so that Ace could hang out in there and get out of the heat. And so when he found out that he was going to be able to escape to a quiet room with air conditioning, he was like, all right, I'll come.
Right.
And he spent some time in there, but a lot more out with everybody than we all expected he would.
He probably, I don't know. Did you check on him the next day? How was he feeling? Or
I went and saw him the next day to give him give him the money that we raised, and he was dead tired.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, the gravity of what just happened yesterday just hasn't even sunk in yet.
Yeah. No, it was, and that's what we talked about was, I went live before the music started up, and was just walking around, just a totally cool place. I hadn't been up there since some of the businesses up there in the pocket. Again, if you don't know, what we're talking about is Port Salerno. It's in between Stewart-ish, Jensen Beach kind of area.
It's between Stewart and Jupiter,
right? And it's pretty unique. It's very local. It's very old Florida still.
Well, what they call Salerno is a little drinking town with a fishing problem.
and the docks, the boats, and it just, again, it's so everyone wants to see a tiki bar in places that's on the. Everyone wants to be on the water when they're drinking in Florida.
Yeah,
right?
well,
And
that's a
it's such
spot
cool
where
place.
there's giant
Yep.
boat warehouses everywhere, and there's giant fisheries everywhere,
Right.
where a lot of the commercial fishermen come and bring their catch right there.
And we met a captain. She came on, and
Captain Hennessy.
Captain Hennessy there. So we got to do an episode of fishing episode of Riffs and Rhythms, and we'll maybe see how
Fishing with Hennessy.
finish it. There we go. That's it. That's perfect. And sponsored by Hennessy. We're not sure yet, but we're working on it. But yeah, back to that the location. It was really cool. I ran into some people as well that I hadn't seen in quite a while. Former bandmates actually. So which was kind of cool. And I was in a band. Oh man, almost 7 years ago there in the Martin County, St. Lucie area, Sonic Sun, and and played with those guys for a bit. And so I'm not as familiar with the Treasure Coast community as much, or a lot of the musicians I know some, but not as many as you do, obviously, because you perform. So, but yeah, it was a great event. So, big shout out to Salerno Beach, right? Dorothy,
Thank you, Daisy, for everything that you did. Daisy rocks.
The whole staff there. The pizza people,
Matt Piscatelli with the flavored fork came out and supplied the most amazing wood-fired pizzas.
I've got to post some of it because I took pictures of it. It's a pizza oven, a old school brick pizza stone oven on a trailer that they tow behind, and they're making pizzas right in the parking lot, fresh and everything. And it was. No
I'm telling you,
I've no joke that pizza.
I've known Matt for years, and everything he makes is amazing. So yeah, and I'm not getting paid for this, Matt. The world deserves good food, and you should be the one making it because your food is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Who else? Are we forgetting anybody else? Shout out or thanks or sponsors or donations.
We had
and Daisy, right? They gave the first donation.
The Salerno Beach Bar gave a $50 gift certificates. Also, Bogies and Stogies,
okay,
as well as another bar gave $50 gift certificates, and thanks to Mary Dawn. So I mean, it wasn't a giant event, but we made a big difference for Ace.
Yeah, it's great to, like you said, it's great to see people come out that know him and friends with him and support him. It's great to see the community, and I say it all the time is, look, you're a local musician, there's local businesses, these are the people in your neighborhood. I know it's a Sesame Street kind of thing, and that's what it is, right? Don't say it, actually do it. Support your local business, support your local musicians, support your local. Do it and not just say it, right? So it's that's what helps keep the community going, right? And
yeah, no question.
Right.
And another highlight of the event was Scott Benge.
Yes, Scotty. Yes.
Scott Benge, a cardiac patient himself, just a month ago had a quadruple bypass, and his chest is literally still being held together with super glue and tape. He went and performed. And he was the first one to pull out a $100 bill and challenge everyone to put a $100 bill in the donation jar. And let me tell you how cool it was to count all those $100 bills the next day. Thank you, Scott. You set up a good precedent.
Yeah. So yeah, there it again. Musicians putting their own money in. Supporting a fellow musician. And you guys, you probably make decent money. So I don't know really all that, but still, it's hard-earned money, and it's great to see it's going to go to something good.
Yeah.
That is a life-changing thing. Literally a life-changing
thing. Yeah. When Ace found out how much money he was getting, he was so relieved. He's like, oh my God, you have no idea how much this is going to help me.
Right.
And speaking of Scott Benge, the next event is Benge Fest. If you have any commercial interest that you would like to advertise among a community that loves to spend money, Benchfest is what you want to be involved
There
in.
you go.
You want to be donating prizes for the raffle.
It was amazing, right? A case of wine, 12 people walked out the door with bottles of wine, and
That helped make the event.
Yeah.
And thank you to
Mario. Yeah.
Mario
Yeah.
Perez, the Prez of the House of Wine, Beer, and Spirits. Is it a haunted house?
I don't know. It's a booze house.
It's drunk ghosts in there.
We could maybe
Wine. It's dead winos and beer drinkers floating around in a big retail store.
Maybe we can get on this. We got to do a haunted house down at his warehouse.
Oh, the haunted warehouse.
Maybe Kevin will perform at the haunted
yeah, we could do. We could do.
There you go.
One of those Ghost Finder movies where it's all dark, and then there's a glitch on the screen, and everybody goes, "Did you see that?" I just felt some coolness come across me.
Somebody grabbed my ass.
Was the air conditioner coming on? No, it was a ghost.
Somebody fondled me.
Get the night vision goggles.
All right. Well, to be determined, right? You never know what we may come up with, and we're always down. We're always down for a good time, right?
Absolutely.
So
that's what we're gonna do.
Right.
We're gonna get the night vision goggles, and we're gonna do a concert in the dark in the warehouse.
That is awesome.
For the Wine, Beer, and Spirits Company, and we are going to shake some spirits out of their bottles and get them back into the bottle with our music.
Look at this. We're episode 1, and we're already working on.
We need a small troll-like human with night vision goggles on, crawling around in the corners, going, "I see it."
Oh my God!
And some Blair Witch type cinematography.
That's right. Yeah, the shaking the camera. Right. Oh my God! 1999 call. They want their special effects back, and so
we'll film it in 8mm
and black and white. But yeah, so the festival. It was great. I appreciate being helping or I don't know, invite or whatever the word I'm trying to say here. I was glad I was a part of it, right? Helping whatever I can.
Well, anytime we can get Paul
cool.
Robertson involved in a project, it certainly elevates the prestige of the project altogether. So it was a self-serving request, honestly.
Thank you. So a lot of the bands were shy though. They didn't come on over to do a little interview action there, but all these guys are musicians that are up on the stage, but they don't want to come in front of a.
Everybody was
Weird.
everybody was caught up in networking with each other,
catching up with people, and So again, it was a very cool.
Already the posturing on Facebook has started, where everybody's like, "Look who I hung out with." It's awesome, when you can create an atmosphere where people show up just so they can look cool.
Right. Yeah.
That is how you know.
Seen to be seen. I guess
doing what Charlie says is winning.
That's right. That's right. We're winning and drinking tiger's blood. But speaking of somebody, unfortunately, if there was going to be a benefit for somebody that, as you mentioned, benefits are usually for people that have passed away.
Yeah, but if there's a musician who doesn't need a benefit,
no, he definitely doesn't need the money for sure.
But it is sad to hear the news of the passing of Jimmy Buffett. And growing up in Fort Pierce, most people, well, a lot of people, if you're not from Florida, you don't know that Jimmy Buffett hung out in Fort Pierce when he lived on a boat in the 70s. He hung out in Fort Pierce. I have a lot of friends who partied with Jimmy Buffett in those days. And according to them, his persona is exactly how he was. He floated around on his boat all day. He stumbled his way to the convenience store and then back to the boat and drank all day. That's pretty much all he did.
Isn't that like everybody wants to be? Is that why it was, he's always people have that attraction to Jimmy Buffett, his music, parrot heads, and that lifestyle? I'm sure everybody, you live on a boat and you're...
Well, the ultimate dream of an advertising agent is to be able to have a brand that creates a culture that is like the Parrot Heads and Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. And like every time you hear a Jimmy Buffett song, you're just transported to Jimmy's world.
So maybe someday we can get to be like that. We have our riffers That's it. That's what we're going to call all of our fan riffers or R&Rs. I don't. We'll figure it out there. But
it's undeniable. Like every time I'm in an airport and I'm reading the signs, that song comes into my mind. Reading departure signs in some big airport reminds me of the places I've been. And then I get all emotional, start thinking about all the cool places I've been. And like in my mind, I can see Jimmy Buffett standing there with his dirty old Corona flip-flops on.
So I have a confession. I know. So here's the thing. Except with maybe the exception of probably some of the popular songs, and it's not a diss. I'm just maybe not a Jimmy Buffett fan. Okay. So again, I know I'm going to probably get hate for this, but it's just something I was never into. Maybe because I wasn't born in Florida. Didn't grow up. Not really into the. Look, I'm down for a party. Don't get me wrong, right? I think there are some things that for me, his music's got to be at the right vibe and place. We were driving the other day when he passed, and I was on the highway, and I said, let's turn on the Margaritaville station on Sirius, and I just wasn't feeling it because I was driving. I'm like, I'm on I-95. I just don't feel the island vibe thing.
Well, it's the perfect day drinking music. If you're not day drinking, it's not going to hit you the right way.
Yeah. So so again, he is phenomenal in a lot of things he did. Like we said, he definitely doesn't need a benefit. Very smart, savvy. His brand, Margaritaville, on everything you can think of. I don't know what his net worth is, but it's...
Yeah, who knows? It might be zero. I mean, you can make $1 million a night, but if you're spending $1 million a day, your net worth is still zero.
That's true. I mean, I guess if you're just wasting away in Margaritaville...
I couldn't drink that much tequila, I promise you. $1 million a day, I'd be gone at about $25,
right? But he was a Palm Beacher, right? I think. Well, he's probably had a couple houses too. But
who knows where he lives?
All over. But I think what was interesting of this story was you mentioned Fort Pierce, and then then there's Jupiter.
Didn't he live in Key West for a little while? They claim him.
Mm-hmm. And
does anybody know where the first Margaritaville opened? I mean, not only did he create a whole world of day drinking glory,
right?
But like their shirts and flip flops and special Jimmy Buffett pants, and parrot heads have their own parrot head hats, and then he opened up Margaritaville, and that whole vibe, to be able to go and buy a margarita in Margaritaville and order a cheeseburger in Paradise. Yeah. And then, have the waitress shuffle you into the gift shop afterwards, just like when you get off the roller coaster. It's to create that kind of retail empire is just, the goal of everyone in the retail business.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you think it's some other band, other things that are like that up there who've parlayed it into massive merchandising is like Kiss. So
everybody who's passed out on a boat because they've been day drinking all day, you're just this far away from doing what Jimmy Buffett did, except for all of the millions of dollars worth of promotion and record deal.
So you've got the drinking part on a boat. You just now need to get up off your ass and go do the business and make the money part. I can do the drinking on the boat, no problem.
You got to hire someone to do that because if you're drinking all day, you can't do that very well.
That's right. Yeah. So, but yeah. So So big. Jimmy's big Florida. Where was he born?
No clue.
Okay, but I think he's pretty much the adopted son, if he wasn't already born here, of Florida. I would guess.
I know that Key West claims him. Yeah. I don't know. Probably a whole lot of other cities do. Yeah, and then the next day, Saturday, it was Friday when he passed away, on the 1st of September, and today is what, the 4th or the 5th of September?
Yeah.
I had a show that afternoon at a very tropical tiki bar on the water, and of course, there was a time in my life when I had played Margaritaville so often, I'd rather get shot than play it again. But it truly is a great song, and if after years of not playing it, I played it in honor of Jimmy. It truly is a great song, and it is the song that launched an empire.
Yeah. Visually, you can those songs, Margaritaville. You could see it wasting away in Margaritaville, stepping on a pop top,
Well, once you've been there,
flip flop.
you can see it. Yeah, we've lived that.
Yes.
Growing up in Fort Pierce, I have cut my heel open on a pop top, day drinking on the beach, and had to go back home, and it was terrible because we just got to drink in the air conditioning after that. So, like, I totally get it.
Yeah. So yeah, for sure. So Jimmy, definitely big influence on a lot of people. Trop rock, I didn't even know what trop rock was. Definitely want to, give a shout out to our good friend Brad Brock. He's got a show. I know when you're listening to this, you'll have to go back and listen to the replay. But he's got a show dedicated to Jimmy Buffett. He's definitely a big
Does he really?
He's got a show tomorrow. His Wednesday night show.
Oh, this upcoming show. Well, yeah, it would make
I guess
sense.
tomorrow
He's going
when
to.
we're taping it, but when you're listening to it,
Yeah.
it already had happened. So go back and listen to the replay on Jams and Cocktails. Our good friend Brad Brock. So go give him some love. And I just speaking before we segue out. About Brad, I think definitely big credit or shout out to Brad is he really kind of made the introduction here, right? I didn't really.
Oh
know
yeah, if it wasn't for Brad, I would have never
If it wasn't
met you.
for Brad, I didn't. Yeah,
How did I meet you? I met you
I think on one of the shows we just
at
showed
one
up
time when I was looking at you and we started talking.
And
it
the Dark and Stormy was that the show?
Was it the Dark and Stormy?
Oh, that's right.
Was it on a show or no?
I think it was on a show.
Was it? No.
No?
What? No, it was before a show because when you came out and saw me play the duo with the drummer at that place, that was before a first show.
Yes, that's right.
Was that when we met?
It may have.
It may have. I think it was
in person.
Yes.
I think because again,
Yes.
you're frequent a guest on the Jams and Cocktails show, and so I think I met you through that.
You came out as a result of
That's
the
right, yes.
announcement
Now
of
that I know who he
gig
was,
on that show.
I went out to the Nitrogen Bar and Grill here in Jupiter. You were playing with your drummer Mike.
It's a nitrogen bar. You can get the bends without getting wet.
Listen, he's got jokes for days, don't he? But yeah, you're right. But we did meet that in person for the first time at the Nitrogen. That's right. Yeah, okay. And then ever since, so we hung out and through Brad's show, and
Yeah, it's been downhill ever since.
that's where we don't want to talk about the bachelor party, but that's a whole nother thing.
No, we can't because we'll get.
Yeah.
We
we
that's a
actually
different network.
If you tune into the
internet.
Patreon, we'll divulge some stuff and about that night and what we can remember.
He and I do not have a Patreon channel, just so you know.
OnlyKevin.com.
Yeah, only kevinsfans.com.
So, but
Yeah, there's like one of those.
But yeah, big shout out to Brad. Again, if you're listening to this, definitely go back and listen to replay. Subscribe, follow Brad's show, Jams and Cocktails. He's got a big, if you're a big Jimmy Buffett fan, I think I shared on Facebook his event, his live stream tomorrow night, or like when you listen to it, Jams and Cocktails. And he's doing a whole Jimmy Buffett tribute. Kind of his whole show is me surrounded by it. So
By the time you read this, you'll need to go back and see the replay.
right, you're going.
Yeah, and you're not even going to read this because there's no words, so I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But part of the same podcast family,
Yes,
and actually the designer of our logo.
that's right. So the logo, yes, that is
It is
an
like-
awesome logo. Yes. So
Or something like this.
what? Yeah. So speaking of the logo, there, what did you tell Brad? You just kind of give him a few words.
I said,
You chat GTP words. And
I
then
said
get it?
we got a podcast, and I had no clue as to what I want as a logo, and neither does Paul. Just do something that works with riffs and rhythms. And his first attempt was perfect.
He hit it out of the park. First shot.
It's like I just told him,
Walk-off
I don't.
home run.
I got no idea. I got no emotions about anything. Just make a logo, and I'm sure it'll be perfect. And it was.
It was. It was like that is awesome. It says everything you need to know in that logo.
Yeah.
Everything, riffs and rhythms. So, but so check out Brad, definitely for sure. And then back to Jimmy Buffett. It's he's put a lot of footprint all over the state. Here in Palm Beach County, we got a Margaritaville ship named after the Margaritaville Empire. 5 O'Clock Somewhere was filmed here in Jupiter at the Square Grouper.
That's
A
true.
long time ago. It doesn't even look like that in the video anymore. The Alan Jackson video. And then it's funny as the story is real quick is somebody who lives in the Port St. Lucie area had said to me, he's like, "Oh, you mean there's a Square Grouper in Jupiter?" I go, "Bro, That is the square grouper. It was before Fort Pierce square grouper, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, if you're not correct, then there's no Fort Pierce
Fact check me,
grouper.
okay?
But
Fact check me.
the Jupiter one came first.
Okay, there you go. So the Jupiter one first, yeah. So that is where the video was shot. And in Alan Jackson's bar in Nashville, right there on Broad Street.
Broadway?
Broadway Street?
Broadway.
The main road. I don't know.
Nash Vegas.
Yes, Nashville. That's a crazy place in Nashville.
I've been there.
I think we need to do a show there. Who was telling me who was never been there before? Somebody told me they were never there. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic here. But yeah, in Alan Jackson's bar in Nashville right there, all the way in the back, there's a neon sign that says Square Grouper. The Square Grouper neon.
No kidding, really?
And I'm like, and I said to the guy I was hanging out with, I was at a drum clinic with Jim Riley from Rascal Flatts. I did a drum clinic weekend there in Nashville back in 2019. And I'm in the Alan Jackson's bar, and I said, "How?" And I start laughing. And he goes, "What do you?" You know, the guy I was with. He says, "What?" I said, "You don't get it because you don't know." And I said, "This is Square Grouper is where they filmed the 5 o'clock somewhere." He's got this, you know. So there's a whole cool tie to it. Those that probably don't realize, obviously, the Square Grouper, and they know the song, just don't know the Square Grouper here in Jupiter, the famous Square Grouper or Castaway. You know, it goes by a couple different names.
Castaway?
Here. Yeah, Castaway. I think that's
Used to be Castaways?
I think so. It used to be a bait and tackle place. There's a little shack on the inlet here in Jupiter.
That's how some of the best places start. There's a lot of great places in Fort Pierce.
I've played there.
I've played there.
Actually, we both played there at different points with another good friend of ours.
Yes, absolutely. Chris Springer with Chris Springer Music.
That's right.
But I didn't realize, now I can add the Square Grouper Jupiter to my list of destinations on the bait and tackle tour.
Is that there you go?
Well, actually, I call it the tackle shop tour because there's a ton of great bars on the Treasure Coast that started out as tackle shops.
Okay,
and now they're bars.
Let's see that's pretty cool. That's some really cool history, right?
And so, like, whenever I play there, like, I call it the tackle shop tour.
Is that Jim's Bite and Tackle? Is that a place?
Jim's Bite and Tackle. No,
I'm thinking maybe
they usually use the word bait.
Bait and tackle, or yeah.
Little Jim in Fort Pierce.
That's maybe what I'm mixing it up.
Tipsy Tiki in Fort Pierce. Crocodillos in Fort Pierce. There's a couple, 5 more.
The Fort Pierce Inlet is so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss actually. Well, we're getting way off topic here talking now about, but Fort Pierce. I used to go up there before kids and you know, and I had more time when I wasn't doing podcasts. I used to go up there, and a couple friends of mine, we'd all go up there and we'd go fish for flounder. You know, we don't get them down.
Yeah, you don't get them as much.
You don't get them down
anymore,
here in Palm Beach.
The flounder in Fort
Pierce.
Pierce.
You go up to St. Lucie County, Fort Pierce, man. You
great.
Go catch some doormats there.
Flounder so big they didn't make a frying pan that would fit one of them.
Oh man, I love flounder. I grew up in Jersey. I guess we call it flukes. Fluke and up north.
Is that what a fluke is?
They had the same name for the same thing. Fluke and flounder.
A fluke is a flounder?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I think so. Fact check me. I dare you to fact check.
You know what the cool thing is? Flounders are born with eyes on either side, and then as they grow and they're tired of getting sand all in their eye, it moves over to the other side.
What? This is some magic.
It's some sort of magic. Because flounders, the thing with flounders is the way they hide is they lay flat on the sea bottom and they kind of shimmy in and they get covered with sand. And the only thing that you can see is their two little beady eyes sticking out. But the thing that most people, well, maybe everyone knows, and I'm just think that I'm special, is that the flounders start out looking like normal fish when they're born, and then as they lay down in the sand, their eyes start shifting around.
I didn't know that. I just know that their eyes are like on either side of their body.
No, they got 2 eyes on the same side. On the left side. Flounders have 2 eyes on the left side of their body.
All right, Captain Hennessy, you hear that? Looks like we need to go fishing because I don't know. Apparently, have not gone fishing in a while.
Yeah, Captain Hennessy will tell you.
Yeah, we got to talk to Captain.
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah. So R.I.P. Jimmy Buffett. I know we kind of went all around on that one there, but yeah. So like I said, I'm not a parrot head, but I do respect. You know, he's got a culture that he's created. A lot of cool music. Maybe I don't connect as much, but do recognize.
Yeah, Jimmy has joined that great gig in the sky, and he's playing with the Heaven Band.
Can you imagine him jamming with like Jerry Garcia. It's like that kind of
Yeah, he's not in the
There's
cover
a
band
lot of-
room because all the cover band artists are tired of playing his songs. He's in the big room with all the super famous people.
It's like, hey, can you play Margaritaville? It's like, no, come on, bro.
It's like Jesus is like, we don't drink here.
Yeah. That's $500 to play Mark. Put it in the tip jar. So all right. So RIP Jimmy Buffett there, the big news here recently, and so we've got another couple segments here that we've got part of the show here. One of them is called Riffs and Rhythms. We're gonna watch a reaction to a video here. So Kevin and I are gonna listen to a video, and we're going to listen to it all the way through, and then we're going to give our quick reaction to what made the song. Was it the riff, or was it the rhythm and the song right there? Nothing else, not lyrics or the video content. We're going to listen to the riff, we're going to listen to the rhythm, and then we're going to say, what really made this song more? Was it the riff or the rhythm?
Yep.
So, all right, so
that's coming up next on
Riffs
and Rhythms. Wait, no. Riffs and
Rhythms
and Riffs.